I turned 29 on a rainy Thursday, the kind of day that already feels heavy before anything even happens. I wasn't expecting a grand celebration. My family rarely celebrated me, but I at least expected civility, a dinner, cake, maybe a hug, something. But with my sister Lily, nothing was ever simple. She had always been dramatic, beautiful, loud, the golden child who soaked in validation like sunlight. I was the quiet one, the sensitive one, the one who took up too much space with my emotions. That's what Lily called it. That's what she always weaponized. Still, Mom insisted we celebrate together, which somehow meant meeting at Lily's house instead of mine. I should have known that was the first red flag. When I arrived, Lily opened the door with a grin too big to be real. "There she is," she announced loudly enough for the entire living room to hear. Maybe Dad's daughter." The room laughed with her. My smile froze. My stomach twisted, but I swallowed it, like always. I stepped inside, wishing I had stayed home and eaten leftover pasta alone. A sinking feeling crawled into my chest. Something was wrong. I could feel it before I even saw the gift box waiting for me. A perfectly wrapped, shiny metallic box placed on the table in the center of the room like it was the star of the evening. Lily clapped her hands. "Birthday girl, open mine first." Mom chuckled awkwardly, Dad cleared his throat, and the room quieted. I didn't want to open it. I knew instinctively there was foul intention dripping from the bow like poison, but everyone stared at me. So I opened it. A small, rectangular box sat inside, white, sterile, almost clinical. A DNA kit. I blinked. My chest tightened. Lily burst out laughing. "Oh, come on, it's a joke. Since everyone says you look nothing like Dad." Everyone? Everyone. My vision blurred for a moment. I tried to laugh it off, but it came out thin, weak, brittle. "That's not funny," I whispered. "Oh, please, don't be dramatic. Look at us." She gestured between our faces, her perfect cheekbones, her golden hair, her model straight posture. "I look like them. You look different. People talk, Mom shifted uncomfortably. Dad looked at the floor. I waited for someone to defend me. No one did. My throat burned. Half the room giggled in that cruel way people do when they know something isn't right, but they go along anyway. "Take it," Lily said. "You never know. Maybe you'll discover something exciting, like who your real father is." The laughter rose again. And that's when I felt something snap inside me. Not anger, not humiliation, but a quiet, bitter clarity. They didn't see me as family. Not really. I forced myself to breathe, to stay calm, to not let them see the hurt blooming like bruises inside me. "Thanks," I whispered, setting the test down gently. Lily leaned closer so only I could hear, her breath sweet with wine. "I mean it," she murmured. "I've always wondered if Mom cheated. You're such an odd one out." I pulled back like I'd been slapped. The party continued around me, music, laughter, the clinking of glasses, but everything felt muffled, distant. I kept staring at that DNA test, its white surface glowing under the chandelier like a spotlight on a wound. Dad avoided looking at me. Mom kept giving Lily subtle looks, warnings or approval. I couldn't tell. I waited for Mom to say something, anything, but she didn't. After cake, during which Lily joked that the candles might reveal my real age too, I excused myself and stepped outside for air. Rain misted against my skin, cold and grounding. The door opened behind me. It was Dad. I waited for him to say the words I needed to hear, that Lily had crossed a line, that he loved me, that this was a bad joke. Instead, he sighed deeply, rubbed his temples, and said, "Maybe you shouldn't react so strongly. Lily didn't mean anything by it." My body went numb. "You think this is my fault?" He said, "I think you're sensitive, and you tend to take things the wrong way." The wrong way. Those words had followed me all my life. I swallowed back everything I wanted to scream. "Do you think I'm really not your daughter?" He froze. His jaw worked as if chewing on a truth he didn't want to swallow. Instead of answering, he said, "Just don't stir things up." And he walked back inside. The door closed. And just like that, the world felt colder. The DNA test. That night, I sat on my bed, staring at the stupid kit. I hated it, hated what it symbolized, but something in me, some jagged, bleeding piece, wanted answers. Not because I doubted my father, because they did. Because they always had. So at 2 a.m., with shaking hands, I took the test. I mailed it the next day. I told no one. Life went on like normal, except nothing was normal. I found myself replaying every moment from childhood. Every time Lily was praised, every time I was dismissed, every time Mom hesitated before saying, "Of course you're ours." Every memory became suspect. Every compliment felt like a lie. Every silence felt like confirmation. 2 weeks later, an email pinged in my inbox. "Your DNA results are ready." My stomach dropped. I stared at the screen for a long time before clicking. And then, my world split open. I wasn't 100% related to Dad. I wasn't even 50%. I wasn't his daughter. Biologically, at least. I stared at the results, unable to breathe. My lungs tightened, the room blurred, my heart pounded painfully in my chest. But then something else happened. A strange calmness washed over me, a steady, chilling clarity. All my life I thought I didn't belong. Turns out, I didn't. Not biologically, not emotionally, not in their eyes. But instead of breaking me, the truth did something unexpected. It freed me. The reality I never expected. The test didn't match me with Dad, but it matched me with someone else. A man named Withridge Hades, age 63, living 2 towns away. A name I had never heard, a person no one had ever mentioned. I scrolled further. Half-siblings. 2 matches found. I felt my pulse thundering. Why had Mom lied? Why had Dad stayed silent? Why had Lily been allowed to torment me for years if they all knew the truth? And then a darker question formed. Did Lily know? Was her birthday gift really a joke or a weapon? I sat frozen, my mind swirling with betrayal, shock, fury, heartbreak, and something else. Resolute. I wasn't going to stay silent. I wasn't going to be their punching bag anymore. I wasn't going to be the forgotten child they pushed around like furniture. If they wanted the truth, they were going to get the truth. All of it. And the consequences, too. The will reading. 3 days later, I received a call that shattered whatever pieces of stability I had left. Dad had passed away. Heart failure. Sudden. I went numb. Even after everything, losing him felt like losing the ground beneath me. The funeral was quiet, tense. Lily clung to Mom dramatically, crying loudly, making sure everyone saw her grief. I stood alone. But the real storm began a week later during the will reading. The attorney's office was packed. Mom, Lily, extended family, a few business partners. I sat quietly in the corner, still unsure how I fit into this family puzzle. Mr. Harrison, Dad's longtime attorney, opened a folder and began reading. And then he paused. He said, "Before I continue," he cleared his throat, "Mr. Carter left a separate letter intended to be read only after the primary will." Lily straightened. Mom stiffened. My heartbeat quickened. Mr. Harrison unfolded a sealed envelope. "This pertains to an agreement made 35 years ago. an agreement involving Emily's biological father. The entire room gasped. My breath stopped. Mom closed her eyes. And Lily? She stared at me with an expression I had never seen before. Not triumph, not mockery, but fear. Real, bone-deep fear. Mr. Harrison continued reading, calmly, professionally, detailing the investigation Dad had ordered when he became suspicious. The missing funds, the forged signatures, the manipulation, the calculated cruelty. Every deceit Lily had hidden. The room turned on her instantly. Mom whispered her name in horror. And I just sat there, trembling as realization dawned. Dad had known. He had seen everything. He had protected.
My mother didn't speak to me for 3 days after the birthday disaster. Not because she cared about how humiliated I felt, but because she was embarrassed that the guests saw family issues. That was always her greatest fear. Not the damage happening inside our home, but the possibility that someone outside might notice. Meanwhile, my sister Lily acted like nothing had happened. She walked around the house humming, as if ruining my birthday and handing me a DNA test as a joke was just playful sibling teasing. She didn't even apologize. In fact, she doubled down. On the morning of the 4th day, she knocked on my bedroom door and said, in the same sing-song voice she always used before saying something venomous, "Am, can we talk? I feel like you're being dramatic again." Dramatic. That was her favorite word, the label she glued onto me whenever she wanted to dismiss my feelings without looking like the villain. I opened the door just enough to see her face. She smirked. "I just want you to know the DNA test was supposed to be funny. Everyone thought so. You made it awkward by taking it seriously." "I didn't take it seriously," I said quietly. "You humiliated me in front of our whole family." "Oh, please." She rolled her eyes. "You've always been sensitive about the whole not Dad's favorite thing. I was just making light of it." Light of it? She had called me another man's mistake in front of 30 people, while everyone laughed, while I stood there holding a DNA test like some circus exhibit. But there was no point arguing. Lily never heard anything except her own voice. I shut the door. That night, Dad called me downstairs. Not my dad. The man I grew up calling Dad. The man who raised both of us. The man whose approval Lily weaponized like a sword and shield. He sat in his leather chair, the one no one else was allowed to touch. "Emily," he said, "you need to stop causing tension in this house." I stared at him, stunned. Causing tension? Dad, she humiliated me. "She was joking," he said sternly. "She didn't mean anything by it. You're blowing this out of proportion." There it was, the Carter family commandment. When Lily hurts you, it's your job to get over it. When you defend yourself, you're the problem. "I think you should apologize to her," he added. Apologize to her. I laughed, quietly, bitterly, before I could stop myself. Dad frowned. "Is something funny?" "No," I said softly. "Nothing's funny at all." I went upstairs without arguing, without crying, without giving him the emotional reaction he expected. Something inside me had clicked, a switch, a realization. I was done playing the invisible, obedient, quiet daughter. If they wanted war, I was ready. But destiny was preparing something much bigger than revenge, something they could never have predicted. The first crack in Lily's perfect world. 1 week later, Lily came storming into my room without knocking. "Emmy,
Where's the stupid DNA test? I want it back. I didn't even look up from my book. I gave it to you, I said. Isn't it mine? She scoffed. It was a joke gift. Keep the box. I just need the actual test. I want to take it for fun. Why? I asked. She froze for half a second, a tiny twitch of panic I might have missed if I wasn't watching closely. No reason, just give it back. But something was wrong. Something in her voice, something in the way her hands shook, something in the way she avoided eye contact. Lily was scared. That had never happened before. I reached into my drawer, pulled out the unopened test, and held it out. She snatched it, but before she walked away, she blurted, "Don't tell Mom or Dad, seriously." She left fast. She didn't even bother closing the door. I stood there, frozen. Why would she say that? Why would Lily, the golden child, the favorite, the girl who walked through life with the confidence of someone permanently protected by the universe, be afraid of a DNA test? A thought hit me. A dark, absurd, impossible thought. What if the joke she played on me wasn't really a joke? What if she was projecting? What if she feared something? Something real, something threatening, something she never expected to face. I didn't believe it, not fully, but when a queen starts to panic, the entire kingdom trembles. The day everything began to crash. 2 days later, I came home from work and walked into Lily crying in the downstairs bathroom. Crying? My sister did not cry. She performed sadness. She weaponized tears. She didn't feel them. But this time, she was shaking. Her makeup was smudged. Her hair was messy. She looked like someone who had lost control. I froze. "Lily, are you okay?" She stared at me like I had caught her in a crime. "Get out!" I stepped back immediately. She slammed the door. I should have walked away, gone upstairs, minded my business, but something in her voice, something terrified, made me stay. I waited in the hallway. 2 minutes later, her phone buzzed on the counter outside the bathroom. She had left it charging. A preview notification appeared. I didn't touch it. I didn't snoop. I simply read the message that flashed on the screen. "Your results are ready. Log in to view your report." My stomach dropped. Her DNA test results. She had taken it, and something in those results had broken her. She came out moments later, grabbed her phone, and nearly ran into me. She froze. "Emmy, you didn't see anything, right?" She wasn't asking. She was pleading. "No." She stared at me for a long time, breathing fast and unevenly, and for the first time in my life, I saw fear in my sister's eyes. Raw, undeniable, panic. She rushed upstairs. And that night, long after everyone was asleep, I heard her whispering urgently on the phone. "No, the numbers don't match. There's someone else." "Yes, I'm sure." "No, I can't let them find out. If Dad sees this, if Mom finds out, my life will be over." My heart felt like it stopped. Them. Find out? My life will be over. The golden child had a secret, a terrible one, and I wasn't the only one she didn't want to belong. And then came the will. 2 weeks later, Dad collapsed suddenly in his workshop. Heart failure. He survived, barely, but the doctors were honest. They said, "We should discuss long-term planning," which meant one thing. A will reading was coming. Those meetings always happened privately, with Dad, Mom, and the family lawyer, Mr. Harrison. But this time, Dad said he wanted everyone present. Everyone, including me. Lily tried to argue. Dad, that's not necessary. We don't want to overwhelm you. He cut her off. No, Lily. This time, everything needs to be transparent. Her face went sheet white. She opened her mouth to protest, but Dad suddenly started coughing violently, and Mom rushed to help him. The meeting was set for 3 days later, and in those 3 days, Lily spiraled. She barely slept, barely ate, jumped every time someone mentioned documents, legal stuff, or inheritance. She even snapped at Mom, something she had never done in her entire life. When Mom asked if she was okay, she yelled, "I said I'm fine. Just leave me alone." That's when I knew. She wasn't afraid of Dad dying. She was afraid of Dad knowing. Whatever she had seen in that DNA report, it was big enough to destroy her entire world. And the will reading was the one place she couldn't hide. I didn't want revenge. Not then, not yet. But fate had already taken over, and the truth wasn't coming quietly. It was coming like a storm. The will reading, the day that changed everything. We met in Dad's study, a room filled with shelves, old photographs,